Coach, how was the energy at practice today?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about what, when you play a game, come back the next day, there's a lot of film work. There's not a lot of, at this juncture of the season, there's not many teams that are coming in and pounding bodies. But we had, obviously, a long day with some film and some execution stuff on the floor, and then started our Alabama prep.
Eric, I guess you faced Nate Oates in Alaska, and I think it was 67-62. I was just looking it up. But what do you remember about that? How well do you know him? And
yeah, I mean,
what do you think what he's doing at Alabama?
I think Coach Oates does a great job. I really like watching his team play. I think they're fun to watch. They're one of the fastest-paced teams in the country. They space the floor. They play, interchangeable parts where, guys can play multiple positions. They shoot the three really well. Petty shooting 47% from three. They hardly ever take a mid-range shot. I think they're from an analytics standpoint, they probably do as good a job as anybody, meaning shots at the rim, free throws attempted, and three balls probably, as good as anybody in the league. And, anytime you got a point guard with the speed of Kyra Lewis, he's a phenomenal player. Alabama's a team I like to watch on TV if we're not playing. I like how they play. They shoot threes, they make threes, and they play with great pace. But anytime you have a player that's a great rebounder like Petty, averaging over 7 boards a game, and then like I said, I mean he's shooting close to 50% from three. So I think they're a really, really talented team. And be a pretty challenging game for sure.
You want to run with them, or do you want to try to slow them down a little bit, or how do you approach that?
I mean, I think that I'm not so sure we've run great all year. I think we run good in spurts. We have to have great transition defense, which we haven't had. I don't know why, because we don't offensive rebound. But if we don't get back on defense, I mean, they're proven that they can hang 90 on you easy.
And you obviously played good three-point defense all year. How do you see your three-point defense against their three-point shooting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've done a pretty good job of defending three. I was happy last night with our. I thought rebounding wise.
Well, hello. It's our Friday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our A edition, as we do it each and every Friday. We're here. We had some things that worked out for a benefit, so me and Demetrius can make our way back to the studio for today's Friday show. Also want to make a note that our sit down with Sam Pittman will be debuting this Monday. I mean, it's in its entirety. Our full sit down. I think you guys will like it. I think the work that Demetrius has put in on this project is going to be highly appreciated. Now, mind you, I do move around a little bit. I'm one of those antsy interviewers, so you'll see a lot of just me and how I do things. The thing might be, Demetrius says it's a stress reliever, but I'm not for sure. I want to go over to Demetrius right now, and we just had a talk. Arkansas, Sam Pittman are concluding their last official visit weekend for this 2020 class. Still got some guys out there they could get, but for the most part, they made a lot of ground. I mean, you said some very interesting things. Why don't you tell the listeners, your points of view up to this point, heading into a few days, that signing day being this coming Wednesday?
No, we were just talking about how I think Sam Pittman really has some pieces that he can work with. I think going into the season, I no longer think it's a matter of talent. I'm not saying that we have the talent from top to bottom to really compete with the best of the best, but I think Pittman has put in enough players to really make this team competitive and take it to another level to where he can really elevate a lot of play just from player development. But I think the key to this team is going to be cohesiveness, because you have so many different players coming from different programs.
Right.
Potential Clemson player coming, a potential Oklahoma player coming. You got younger guys coming, then you got older guys that have been in the program. Then you got freshmen that are new to the program, just the University of Arkansas. So there's so many revolving pieces that Sam Pittman has to work with. But I think if he can somehow glue all those pieces together, I think he's going to have a productive team this year.
And Xavier Kelly is the official former Clemson defensive lineman that Demetrius just alluded to. He will be making an official visit to the University of Arkansas over the weekend as maybe a possible destination. Arkansas did have some previous recruiting ties to Xavier out of high school, as he's from Wichita, Kansas. He would have been a part of that 2016 class that just recently left. Sosa, Devois, and all those guys. But we want to get into some questions. As we love having you guys chime in. And Steve Green says the team needs better shot selection. And I think he may be alluding to this past weekend, this past Wednesday night's very disappointing 79-77 loss at the hands of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Without question, 7 for 26 from the three-point line. Arkansas took 54 shots. So if you take 26 of your 54 shots from the three-point line and you were 7 for 26, not a very high shooting percentage. And when you delve off in that more, Demetrius, this team, and what I mean by this team, Arkansas was in the double bonus, I believe, the last 10 minutes of the ball game, which tells me that every time you get fouled, you're going to shoot not one but 2 free throws. You look even more deeper into that stat, Steve, and you notice Mason Jones, 15 of 16. Everyone else, I don't think shot over 4 free throws apiece, which lets me know that Mason was attacking the rim. As a result, was getting a lot of calls. Now, on top of that, 26 out of 40 from the free throw line at home is going to be, Demetrius, I mean, without question, a recipe for a LOSS. And that's what happened. I mean, the officiating, it was not for the beauty of the eye, but this team did miss, Demetrius, 14 free throws at home. I mean, don't you think they have to get some of the credit for this very disappointing home loss? Because nobody saw that.
Definitely, and that was one of the things we were talking about earlier. That earlier in the week when we did a show, I was talking about how these guys have to get a SEC win. It's a must. I know they had a great out of conference schedule and really haven't really strung too many games together within the SEC. And really what I think it boils down to is size and physicality within the SEC. I think Coach Musselman talked about it, when he was talking about guys rebounding and asking the coach what was the biggest difference between other conferences, between the SEC and its rebounding. And to me, that goes back to physicality, guys just being bigger, stronger, and more physical. And I think guys have the recipe to beat the Razorbacks. I think these guys are settling for these threes because they can't get to the lane and can't really get over these bigger guards that are really guarding them. So
right.
I think there's just a really big disadvantage. And another thing, they're taking so many threes because they don't have an inside game. So you have to settle for jump shots that you normally probably wouldn't take if you could work the paint in. So I just think, that the 7-footer not playing this year just really hurt them. I think if they just had a big that even could give them, 10 to 12 minutes would just make a world of difference for Arkansas for this season.
And then, when you look at this, it's the 3 consecutive SEC losses in the conference. As with that, what I mean by that is Kentucky, Mississippi State, and now South Carolina. 3 of your last 4 ball games you've dropped. So, there's a little funk in this, but it's called adversity. And I think every season you're gonna go through these little ups and downs, some of these little lulls. Adverse moments is what I like to attribute them to, and that's where you find out a little bit more about your team, the makeup of your team. And I think Arkansas heading to Alabama this weekend. With Alabama, I believe they're sitting at 4-3 in the conference, having beat Auburn by 19 points. Should have beaten Florida on the road, unfortunately. Didn't play up to standard. Played Kentucky at Kentucky quite well. So this is a team that can beat you. But I think for the most part, this is a must-win for this basketball team, in particular, as I think this is a crossroads part of the season. But we're going to step away, get a real quick break, and then we'll take more of your questions. We're going to let you hear more of Coach Schmuss's preview of this upcoming basketball game versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. And then we were at Baseball Media Day, caught up with a couple of those players. Let you hear a few of those clips and much, much more. All that's coming up. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
I thought Desi played pretty well. Thought Isaiah had some good stretches.
How did Joe's knee and Desi's ankle do overnight as far as practice today?
Yeah, we have 3 guys that are hurt. Jimmy did the least. He's actually the guy that we're most worried about. Desi sprained his ankle, so it's never going to feel good the next day. And Isaiah did about, maybe 40% of practice today. Jimmy basically did none.
What's up with Jimmy?
He got, I don't know if Mike wants to go grab our trainer.
Because he was wearing a
calf.
There you go. He got calf. He got kneed in the back of his calf. Kind of has like a semi-dead foot, I guess is the best way. It hit a nerve.
So he didn't do much today?
No.
If he can't go, you're pretty confident in Jalen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate one way. I mean, because what's today? I don't even know what day it is. It's Thursday. We get on a plane tomorrow, and we got 48 hours or whatever. So I don't want to lead any. I don't know what. I just know he hit a nerve, and it's painful to do anything.
I think Alabama's defending the 3-point line fairly well in conference. You see that as kind of a key on Saturday. I
mean, we have to have better shot selections from 3. I mean, I think we're 282nd in the country at 3. So, if you're anywhere from 150 below, you probably gotta continue to make adjustments, and we can't keep taking a high volume of 3s if we're going to be, as a group, 280 in the country. There's only like 320 Division I schools, so if you're in the bottom 50, probably not a good idea to keep taking them. I mean, we've done a really good job of getting to the basket and drawing free throws, so I think that's got to be a higher priority for us, is finding a way to get to the cup, finding a way to draw free throws attempted.
You still want Isaiah taking high volume 3s? Obviously, that's what he does.
Yeah, I think everything boils down with all of our guys, not any one guy in particular. I think all of us. The name of the game is you got to get high percentage shots. So, I told the team, like, if your feet are set and you have an open 3, we certainly don't want to discourage that at all. But we do have to shoot better percentage as a group. Like I said, as you look at our team and we're 280, whatever. Like it's got to improve. The only way I know how to improve is to increase your. Maybe we got to deliver the ball better, more on target, more on time. Maybe we have to set better screens. A lot of things that we can continue to get better at, for sure.
Stay consistent on.
What was your average before?
I was anywhere from 87 to 88, and now over 90, so.
Pretty consistent?
Yes, consistently, yes.
You added a pitch or anything since you started?
I haven't added a pitch, just working on the changeup, getting that as a usable pitch I can throw it in the count.
Starting it looks like you're going to be the first game starter. What does that mean to you?
That means a lot. Obviously, that's everybody's dream. You want to pitch on Friday nights here under the lights and in front of a big crowd, so it means a lot. And just being the rock to hold the team together. So it's a big deal, and a lot of good people come before me. So I can continue that.
Kind of what you learned from Isaiah since following him.
I learned a lot about his demeanor on the mound, and how to carry yourself, being the Friday guy, and he brought a lot to the game mentally, and he kept calm out there, and he just did his thing. So he taught me a lot about.
Welcome back to our Friday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, as we let you hear more from Coach Eric Musselman as he previewed tomorrow night's upcoming ball game as they travel to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to take on the Crimson Tide. Also, too, we'll let you hear sophomore pitching sensation Connor Nolan in today's men's baseball media availability that we had here at local media with the Arkansas Razorback baseball team. And Steve Green's got some good ones. Or Tim Hancock, more practice on free throws, Demetrius. 14 free throws. You think that's what they need? I mean, because they hadn't shot free throws. When you talk about 2 home losses with it being Kentucky and South Carolina, a combined 24 missed free throws, D. 24.
I hate to go back on this, but, that sounds like something that was happening last year to Mike Anderson.
Right.
Where he was in those really close ball games where there was times where he really could have won the game, but due to a lack of free throw and shooting at clutch climbs, he lost some crucial games. And I'm not saying you're seeing must have similar outcomes, but you're seeing that kind of the issues that they didn't address last year kind of come perk its head up this year, and it's kind of being the Achilles heel in some of the games.
And I know, basketball. Also, too, making note, Arkansas possibly is going to have 3 banged up with Jimmy Witt, Isaiah Joe, and Desi Seals, all probably going to be game time decisions, should play, but will not be up to 100%. You can pretty much say that to be true, as this is a banged-up basketball team at the moment. But like I said, every team has to go through a period in the season. It's such a long, grinding season that adversity will hit at some point, Demetrius. At some point, it will hit you during that season. And Arkansas, for the most part, let's face it, non-conference 12-1, started off conference season really, really well. A lot of success on the road non-conference this year. But as I've said, adversity is going to hit. You're going to hit a wall where shots don't fall, and this team has not been shooting the ball since its last time. Coming from Oxford, it's been a team that they're playing in spurts right now, and I think it's just about getting back to the drawing board. Arkansas needs to become and get back to being the defensive team that they were in the early part. It seems like they've lost a little bit of the dog mentality on that side of the ball. And it's starting to put a lot of stress on this team offensively. I like what Demetrius said. Not having a big like a Connor Vanover, someone that's 7'3" and can extend the floor, be a rim protector, because at the same time he's a great 3-point shooter and probably one of the elite passers on this basketball team. When you don't have that, and you are most nights the smaller ball club, it's going to put a lot of strain on you for the most part. It will definitely strain you out, but yeah, knowing Coach Musselman and staff, they'll come up with the proper antidote to get this team back on its winning track. I know Coach doesn't do well with losses, which I like. So we'll keep a close eye on what they do this coming weekend. Also, too, want to make a note. Tell them a little bit more, Demetrius, about some of the Pittman interview and what they can be expected to see from your production. Because I'm telling you, if you need any type of production, he's the guy you need to get in. But I'm gonna let him just share a couple of little teasers about this production podcast that we did with Coach Sam Pittman.
I just think he goes in on a little insight, how everything went, but I think you just see the personality and more of the passion, that he talks about when he first got hired, and then he goes in to go a little bit of recruiting. So I think it's interesting. It's just to hear his reactions and little things he went through, tidbits maybe he didn't drop, at his initial acceptance, or maybe something he didn't tell the media. But I think you just learned a little bit more about Sam Pittman. It really shows me how much of an Arkansas guy he really is, and how, although he's from Oklahoma, he really has a heart of a Razorback, and that to me is important as a head coach.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. Let you hear more of our media day interviews as we met. Junior catcher Casey Opitz also spoke with sophomore pitcher Patrick Wicklander, true freshman Robert Moore, junior shortstop Casey Martin. All those interviews are coming up as we'll also too sophomore center fielder Christian Franklin. We had a chance to catch up with these guys, and we're going to let you hear just excerpts of just some of their expectation and things that they've worked on and how this team can get a lot better. And then we'll be back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
I don't think so. I think I got the center field. Oh, okay. But I just know it was kind of like, okay, Robert.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Excuse me. How's it going?
Yeah, good. So obviously last year you had 15 starts, 90 strikeouts, second best on the team. What was that experience like, and how will it carry over for this season?
I mean, last year's experience was unbelievable. Going back to Omaha, that was kind of what we wanted to do. That's why I wanted to help him come in and help as a freshman as much as possible. I really didn't pay attention to being second on the team in strikeouts. I just wanted to help the team win as much as possible, basically. But overall, going into this year, it's going to help out a lot.
What about your combination of pitches? What have you improved on in that area, just in terms of obviously trying to build off the fact that when you get that fastball going, you're in rhythm. What about your breaking ball?
I actually added another breaking ball. I actually added a curveball this year. Connor kind of helped me kind of refine it and learn it at A&M, actually. Yeah. But overall, I mean, I'm a 4-pitch mix guy now. The big thing is just throwing the strikes this year. That's probably the biggest thing for me.
So what is that 4-pitch mix?
Fastball, changeup, slider, curveball now. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it's what Connor throws too. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
What's that relationship like? I mean, obviously, so much praise for you and Connor. As freshmen, what was that like just going through that journey with him?
It was really cool. We'd sit on the road, we talk about it in our rooms. It was actually pretty cool. But we had a fun competitive nature with each other. We always wanted to help each other. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw, but whenever he was out there, I'd be the first one to go see him, and vice versa. It's just we just want to build each other. We want the best for each other. Ultimately, we both want to win.
Last year we didn't have all those super high rankings. Maybe we'll have a little bit more respect for us this year going all back-to-back years. So I mean, I'm excited for this team. We've got a good pitching staff. North Carolina's going to be really good too.
What are the keys to getting back? Going back to
I mean, number one, always good defense. But I mean, I think the hitting's going to come. I think figuring out our pitching staff, losing Isaiah and some of the other guys, is going to be a big key as well. So just figure out the pitching and the defense.
Dave was talking to us about you and improving in offense. And probably putting it at the 5-hole, maybe. Where have you gotten better?
Honestly, just being able to hit plus velo. Last year, I kind of struggled with hitting plus velo, so I think working in Santa Barbara over the summer, I definitely worked on my swing, being more efficient. So I think that's going to help me a lot. And my batter's eye, being able to recognize the fastball up, not swing at that, and my pitch selection is going to help me a lot this year.
What do you think of your comfort level in center field, and then just the alignment of the outfielders this year?
I think it's really nice. I mean, Heston's going to be back out there now that we got Robert back in the infield, Robert. And then Webb is going to be a good defender. I think he's a natural infielder, but he's really fast. It's going to
It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our Friday edition. And real quick, want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, as this would not be possible without you guys. With that being said, first off, Lindsay and Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting. And lastly, KDK's Chicken. It's at 989 Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that lemon, like to say. It's not your mama's, the best chicken and waffles in the South. But we'll let you hear audio from sophomore pitcher sensation Patrick Wicklander, also Connor Nolan, and sophomore center fielder Christian Franklin from parts of today's baseball media day that we had availability with that highly, highly anticipated baseball team. But tonight, we want to make a note that we will be broadcasting live Fayetteville High as they host the Harbor Wildcats. Of our nightcap, as they'll be taking on the Harbor Wildcats in a first place matchup. Tip off 7:30 p.m. So make sure, and if you don't get a chance to catch us tonight, you can also hear our broadcast each and every Saturday morning as we'll play back tonight's ball games on Red Dirt 106.1. So just want to make a note, if you can't hear us, check us out on 106.1. Tonight, the Fayetteville Bulldogs host the Harbor Wildcats of Springdale in a big 6-8 West matchup. But that's going to just about do it for us here today on the Hill. We'll be back with much, much more on Monday. As I said, we will air the HO3-FO6 one-on-one sit-down interview that we had with the head hog, Sam Pittman, in its entirety. You don't want to miss it. A lot of good stuff's going to come out there. We had a chance to ask questions, and you know what else? He gave us the answers just like he does each and every time. That's why I felt so good about him being the main boss here on the Hill. But for my producer, Demetrius Johnson, and myself, also our sponsors, Lindsay and Associates, Locomotion, Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, KDK's Chicken. For myself, my producer, to you all, have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and let's get it.